Hello there, conscious lover. Come sit with me in front of the fire. This is just a test to see if I'm looking in the right place. I definitely don't know where I'm looking right now. Yeah, what are we doing here? We are talking about that emotionally unavailable man that you are just so smitten by. Yeah. The next question that I get after how do I feel sexier, right? How do I feel more sexy? How do I feel more attractive? The second most asked question is, it's not even a question, it's a whole scenario. Let me give you the scenario. Well, I met this guy. He's really cool. We have a lot of fun together. He told me pretty much off the jump that he is either afraid of commitment or that he's just not ready. And, you know, of course I still had sex with him, but, yeah. And now he's like really hot and cold. Sometimes he pulls away. Sometimes he's like really on me. The texts get shorter and shorter. I don't understand what's happening. What do I do? I really like this guy. All the other guys that I've met recently are lame in comparison. I really want this guy. How do I get him? Well, let's talk about it. So if I know you and your situation, because let's be real, you are in a whole situationship, sis. You might not even be that far. He might even not be letting you get to the situationship line. But if I know anything about this scenario, it's that usually it's built on a streamline of text messages, right? You don't really have very deep conversations, a lot of face-to-face type communication, right? A lot of it is built, all right, well, what if you do express it? What if it does push him away? He's only halfway there anyway, if that. So what if you do push him away completely? Then what? I'm really asking. I want you to really consider that. Then what? Because at this point, what are you trying to save? There's no real investment. There's no spiritual investment. There's no emotional investment. There's very little physical investment, okay? Sex is not it. I'm talking about time, effort, and energy. These are ways that a man will invest. This is how you know that there's substance, investment. So if there's really no investment on any of those levels, what exactly are you afraid of losing or pushing away? What's left after that? Well, a fantasy. Or old memories of what used to be, what you wish you could have back, but none of those things are actually real in the present. So at first, you know, not to just burst your bubble right off the bat, but it's really important to consider what is actually there. Not what you wish was there, but what's already there, what has already been put down as your foundation. What kind of foundation are you building? Hot and cold behavior, being there one day, being gone the next. It's confusing. Confusion breeds anxiety and insecurity. I'll tell you right now, bottom line, you don't want to go into any situation confused. No healthy type of connection can be built off of that type of ground. All right? So let's clear away the fog. I want you to commit to being clear-minded, and still within your heart. That is the goal here, because those are the only ways. Being clear, being still in your heart, being focused on taking care of yourself. Those are the only ways that you are going to manifest the type of connection that you want. Confusion, anxiety, just creates more of the same. So, what he will not give you, you must give to yourself. If he will not give you clarity through communication, through consistency, then you must give that to yourself. Otherwise, you're both lost. Okay? If you stoop to the level of confusion, that's the kind of connection that you have. You must vibrate higher and expect to attract that which vibrates higher, not go lower trying to understand that which doesn't even understand itself. Does that make sense? Chasing anybody or trying to convince them to be a stable part of your life, no, that lowers your vibration. That will make you feel insecure. That will make you feel like you're worth less. Okay? We don't want to go in that direction. We want to instead take it higher. We want to live in a place of faith and knowing that what is for you is coming, whether it's from this person or the next. It's coming. And you can decide on how quickly it comes by choosing to know what you deserve and know that you will have it, that you don't have to chase what's for you, okay? But let's get practical. What do you do with your emotionally unavailable man? Well, first, you do communicate. You say the things that you're afraid to say that you think will push him away. You can't walk on eggshells in a relationship and expect it to grow. You can't. So if you are entering into a situation already feeling like you have to walk on eggshells, that's a red flag, sis. It's not good. I'm not saying you start this big fight, okay? This is one thing that gets me like nothing else. When people, especially emotionally unavailable men, tag conversation and communication as drama. That's emotional manipulation. It's gaslighting. That is not true, okay? Communicating with someone, having a conversation about something that bothers you, or just even trying to get clarity is not in itself drama. You have to consider timing and delivery when talking to someone. Those things usually add a more dramatic effect, right? When you just go in guns blazing, you don't care how you say it, you don't care where you are, you don't care what's going on with him, like you just gonna say it and whatever. No. Keep in mind, we're planting seeds here. Communication is a seed. You want to make sure that you are planting the right ones, okay? Planting it and watering it, nurturing it so that something grows, so that you see fruit bear from your communication. That's the whole point of communicating. Otherwise, you're just trying to start some shit. So, are you trying to get a reaction? Or are you trying to get an answer? Are you trying to get growth? Are you trying to get somewhere? That will determine how you approach this. So don't be afraid to communicate. Actually, the lack of communication creates more drama than mature communication itself. Don't be afraid to speak up. Speak up. And if you can't, leave it. If the person will not engage in a conversation with you, leave it. Because you can't force someone to talk to you. You can't. And if you try, it's obvious that your intentions are not really in the right place. Most likely, if you push, it's because you want control over the situation and you're more so focused on getting a particular result than gaining understanding. So don't push, leave it if it's too difficult. I know that's hard, but remember, that's your ego speaking. If you want a healthy connection, it's not going to come from ego, right? Forcing your ego and your own desires on that other person. That's only going to push them further away. If the conversation is too hard to have right now, that doesn't mean it's going to always be hard to have. Leave it. Communication. No communication, cutting off or like just acting like it doesn't exist, sweeping stuff under the rug, that's played out, okay? And it's not going to get you anywhere with establishing a real relationship. So please know that someone who tells you that, oh, you're too much, oh, you're always so deep, oh my God, you are so full of drama, because they don't want to talk to you, see that for what it clearly is. All right? There are people who may benefit from you shutting up or from you having no boundaries. And that's their comfort zone because they don't have to do anything. They don't have to grow. They don't have to be challenged, and they don't want to be challenged. And they don't want to lose out on what was coming to them so easy. Don't be fooled. See it for what it is. Communication that is mature always leads to something better, even if you can't see it right then and there. You will grow from it, all right? So that's step one, talk. And if you can't talk, leave it alone. Step two, understand that people can only love and express from their level of consciousness. What does that mean? We were not all loved or taught to love the same. We all are on different levels of consciousness when it comes to love, or all of the different components that go into loving a person, or showing that, or expressing that. And that's not just for your romantic relationships. That's your friends, your parents. Think back on how you were shown love growing up. There are some people who grew up in really loving families where they saw both their parents, and their parents were so in love, and they absorbed that and they took that in and they carried that out into the world, where their families were big on connection and talking, being open with one another. Then there are other people who may have been in abusive households where emotions were suppressed and ridiculed. Where they weren't allowed to feel or express feeling. Okay? we are all conditioned throughout our lives. And so a person can only express to you the way that they know how, especially a person who's not awake, who's not conscious and intentional, who doesn't understand the seeds that they're planting in their relationship and what it is creating down the line. So know that going in, you have to choose to be at your highest vibration, and you have to choose to attract that to you. And just because you want something right here and now in the physical does not mean that that is for your highest good. And that doesn't necessarily mean that it won't come later. But for now, recognize that people can only love and express at their current level of consciousness. And you are not their life teacher. It's not up on you to necessarily force them to do different. Yes, we do teach people how to treat us. We do teach people how to love us. But if they're not open to receiving those things, just like you have to be open, then it's not going to work. Recognize that early on, as early as possible, and you will avoid a lot of heartache trying to force something and push something and open someone's eyes to you when they don't want to see. Number 3, my third tip on what to do with your emotionally unavailable man. Distinguish yourself from your thoughts. Distinguish who you are actually from your thoughts about who you are in his eyes or how he's thinking of you. Pretty much, I'm telling you to recognize what's really going on versus your own insecurity. All right. For example, if one day he's really short in his text messages, or he's not responding as enthusiastically. Remember, we're talking about text messages a lot of the time. These relationships, situationships especially, are usually maintained, which is using that word very loosely, on really brief conversation, texts, okay? Texts. So it is very hard to read someone and their tone, what they mean by whatever they are saying to you, why they're being so short and brief, like whatever, via a text. That's one thing. So be mindful of that before you start popping off on people and asking a bunch of questions and draining him emotionally when he might not even mean whatever it is that you are taking from it, okay? Recognize what's actually going on. Distinguish your true self from your insecurities. And get some perspective. One way to do this is to do this exercise, okay? List out some things that he's doing that make you feel insecure. And then write down your thoughts about it, what initially comes to mind, okay? What comes to mind first, just probably your insecure thought on it. And then I want you to write down 2 or 3 other things that could be happening that you might not even be considering. So, for example, he takes 30 minutes to respond to my text message. I think he's bored with me. He's not interested. What could be happening is that the man might got diarrhea. I don't know. I don't know. I'm sorry. Don't mind me. But for real, he could be like, who knows what that man is doing. He could have got called into an important project at work. He could have got called by his mother, like, or a family member who needs some money or something. He might have had to go do something real quick. Like, Lord forbid anybody has to leave their phone. His phone might have died. His phone might have fell out of his pocket and got ran over by a car. Girl, I don't know. But it is not all about you all the time. That's my point. All right? So distinguish yourself from your insecurity when it comes to him, because you might be getting your feelings hurt for no reason. Why, sis? Why? From that exercise is to understand that just because you think something does not make it true, does not make it gospel. So don't self-sabotage and sabotage your connection based off of lack of clarity, okay? Next up, what is this? 4, identify who you are in the connection and how you are showing up. And more importantly, why you're showing up that way. All right, so if you are feeling like I gotta have this guy. Why is he not interested? Why am I not getting the same energy that I used to get? I gotta get him. Pause. That means, first of all, you are not taking time to balance yourself out. You are all up in your head, and you need to take a little bit of time to get quiet and still within yourself, to get perspective, a bird's eye view of the situation. Why are you feeling so anxious, antsy? He's just a man. And there are a bunch of them out here. Okay? So, you have to start considering what's really happening underneath the surface here. And it's likely nothing to do with him. Going back to the example about the lame guys that pale in comparison to this other one, right? That you are so just head over heels for. Well, those lame guys are likely much more willing to make the investment than this other one. The lame guy is blowing you up, trying to take you to PF Chang's. I mean, come on. The lame guy is, I don't know, calling, giving you time, showing you effort, that he actually wants the same kind of connection that you want. He's trying to make an investment, but you're caught up on the one who doesn't want to make an investment. So, what does that mean? I'm not telling you to settle for somebody that you just have no attraction to or the chemistry isn't there. Trust me, I believe wholeheartedly in chemistry and its importance. So, I'm not throwing that out the window. But maybe the point is not that this other guy is so great, because he's not, if he's not seeing you. Maybe it's that you want to win. Maybe it's that you are trying to avoid feeling rejected at all costs out of insecurity. Maybe it's because you like the idea of him and that you want to feel like the woman that was able to get that kind of guy, that was able to rehabilitate that kind of guy who wasn't ready for a relationship, or that was a player and had all these chicks lined up, but you got him. Maybe this is much more about your ego and your sense of control than it is him and the connection itself. You got to consider your motives. Why? Why this one? For what? He looks good? The sex was good? I mean, the sex is good at first, of course. He has a point to prove. He's on a mission. He's gonna put in work. But what else is there? What is he really giving you to keep you here? keep this in mind. I'm getting hot in front of this fire, y'all. I mean, it's sexy and everything, but sheesh, I am about to start sweating. Listen, the person who wants intimacy and closeness the least controls the amount of intimacy and closeness there is in the relationship, in the connection, okay? Which means if he wants it the least and you want it the most, that's not balanced, right? And you are going to always be feeling like you want too much from him. Right? My annoying alarm went off. You're gonna always feel like you want too much from him. He's gonna make you feel that way. And isn't that sad? Being with someone who makes you feel like you have to beg for them to provide certain things, a certain level of closeness, who wants to keep you kind of at bay or have this wall up. You don't want too much. You're just asking from the wrong person. Okay? Now, I'll say it again. People do change. People evolve. But at this moment, you're asking the wrong person. It's not that you want too much. There are other people out here, like that lame dude, who will give you what you want because he wants the same thing as you. It's a balance. But you rather focus on the person that you have to chase and convince to connect with you. And as long as you do that, he'll always control the amount of closeness and safety you feel in the connection. Why do you want to torture your heart like that? If you are entering a situation and you automatically feel like the loser, you're not going to make the tables turn by playing the part. Let that man figure out his life. And so usually the follow-up question is, well, what if he does change? What if I'm walking away from something that could be great? What if this is my person? Notice I didn't say just walk away, okay? What I said was let that man figure out his life. If he wants you in it. Because approaching it the way you are now, all it does is give him some warped feeling of power within the connection. And if that's what it is, then it's not even a real connection. That leaves you begging for closeness, begging to talk or feel really connected to one another, or leaves you emotionally starved. Both, really. So give him that space. Avoid the torture by coming into alignment with divine order, operating from a sense of faith and knowing, like I started out saying. Okay? This is not a game. You're not trying to win someone. This is your life. And you want someone in it who wants the same thing as you. When you start out from a place of balance and mutual connection, being crazy about one another, blowing one another up, both wanting to be closer, not wanting the other person to be distant, pulling them closer, then that's some good ground. You only go up from there. But when you start off like this, then you're constantly struggling to balance it out. Seek an equal. Certainly don't have sex with a man who is not an equal. As in emotional maturity, spiritual connection and groundedness, wanting the same thing from the relationship that you want. Stop doing that. That's a whole nother video, and I'll do that later. Stop doing that. Stop sacrificing yourself and giving yourself up so freely. You are your number one player. You are the MVP of your life. You got to take care of you. Who else is going to take care of you like you? seek an equal from the beginning, and things will work out much more smoothly. It's not on you to rehabilitate a man from the ground up. Now, I'm definitely not a man basher, okay? I'm not saying that you're not gonna work with a man and that he's not gonna work with you. We are all students of life, and we're all learning each and every day. But an emotionally unavailable man is not even open to you. He doesn't see you clearly. So instead of going down that route and enduring all this pain and heartache and setting yourself back, because you're planting seeds, and you're planting seeds for the future you. You're either going to look back with confidence and pride in who you've become, or you're going to look back with regret. Plant the right seeds. Take care of you. And know that your person is coming. I hope this video wasn't too long, but I just really wanted to have this time with you because this is very important, and it's a question that I get a lot, and so it just had to be done. Sorry, still getting used to YouTube, but I just wanted to come back and ask you to please subscribe and like the video. I will be putting a new video up every Thursday on the Bare Connection, just diving into conscious love. Really, that's the bottom line, to connect. And so I hope that you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe to my channel, and this time I'll see you later for real. Bye.